Hi everyone, welcome to this video on SQL. What is an SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It is a programming language that is used for data analysis or data manipulation. So in this video, we are going to learn three basic things. First, we are going to learn how to create a database in SQL. Second, we are going to learn how to create or form a table in the database. Then lastly, we are going to learn how to enter data or values in the table. Now, this is the interface of the SQL window. Now, how do we begin with a new query? Now, there are two ways we can do that. One of the ways is this. You can click directly here where we have new query from this menu, or use a shortcut Ctrl N on the keyboard, Ctrl plus N on the keyboard to open a new query. So let's click OK. Now this is the window. This is where we type our codes and run. So now we're going to create a database. First of all, before we create a database, looking at here, this is where our databases show. Now the master we see here is a default, is a follow com database. So by the time we create our own database, we are going to use another command to change this master so that the database we are going to create will appear here. So now let's create our database. Create database. Now what name are we giving to our database? Let's call it Federal Ministry of Education. So every code we must run, we must end it with a semicolon. So after that, we highlight and run, we execute. Okay, so no issues found. We have run our first code, which is the creation of database. Now, how do we change this master to the new database we just created, Federal Ministry of Education? Now we're going to use another command, which is known as use. Use is a command. So use what? Use our database, which is Federal Ministry _ of Education. Of course, we end with semicolon. Okay, so always check your spellings. Make sure that everything is correct. So now if I run this master will change and start bearing the name of our database. Okay, so look at it now. It is bearing the name of our database, Federal Ministry of Education. Now having done this, we are going to create a table in the database. So we are using create command also. Create table. Now what name do we want for our table? We want the name of our table to be employee. Now having named our table, now we are going to define each column in the table. Now table has different columns, right? So we are going to define each of the columns now. So first of all, let's say our first column will be employee ID, employee _ ID. Now, do we want our employee ID to be all numbers? If we want them to be all numbers, we can just put int, meaning integer, whole numbers. But if we want it to contain both numbers and letters, we can use another command known as varchar. This is varchar. Then how many characters do you want the ID to contain? Okay, let's say we don't want it to exceed 10 characters. It can be less than 10, but it cannot exceed 10 characters. Okay, so this is our first column, employee ID. Now the second column will be surname. Now of course we want our surname to be all letters, so we use varchar. So let's say 20. It shouldn't exceed 20 characters, 20 alphabets. Okay, after that we have a first name, first underscore name. Then we define it also. We are defining our table. We are defining each column of the table. So first underscore name will be 20 characters also. We can also continue in the next line. Okay, so after first name we have other names, other underscore names. Okay, want it also of course to be letters. Let's say 20 maximum. Okay, so after this let's bring date of birth, DOB. Let's make our date of birth varchar, so that we can bring in, we can even put special characters like slashes. So we want it not to be more than 15 characters. And of course let's put phone number, phone underscore number. Okay, so we want our phone number to also have some special characters, so let's make it varchar instead of integer. Make it varchar. It shouldn't exceed 20 characters. Yeah, so after this, now remember we opened a bracket here after employee, so let's close that big bracket now. I will close it. Okay, so let's end our code with a semicolon. So we are going to create our table now, and the name of our table is employee, and these are the columns in the table. So let's run and see. Execute. It has run. Now let's check our table if all these columns will appear. Okay, now we are using another command known as select. Select is a command. So select what? Select all. Select all from where? From the table name employee. Employee. Then we end it with semicolon. We highlight and run. Okay, now this is our table. These are the columns we just created in the table: employee ID, surname, first name, other names, date of birth, then phone number. What if I want to select only phone number from the employee table? It can also be done. Instead of select all, I just want to select phone number, phone underscore number from my table, employee table. So also use a select command. Select what? Phone underscore number from where? From the table name, right? Then end it with semicolon. Then let's execute. Then we have only phone number here, right? Now having seen this, now let us add values to our table. We have just done defining our table. We've defined how each column should look like. Now let us start adding data or values in the table. So we are using another command known as insert into. Insert into is another command. Insert into where? Table name, right? Insert into employee. Then values is also another command. Then we open our bracket. Remember, employee ID is defined to carry both numbers, special characters, and even alphabets. So by so doing, anywhere you see voucher, any data you are adding must be quoted. So in this case, we are using single quote, right? So we are using single quote. So let's say this person's number, ID number is 001A. Of course, we open and close the quote, then comma. Now what's the next thing? The next thing is surname. Of course, voucher and letter, so we quote. So let's say the surname is Musa. Okay, comma. First name, let's say the first name is Audu, close it, comma. Other names, let's say the other name is Isa, close it. Then after that we have date of birth. Now let's say this person's date of birth is need to open a quotation mark, single quotation, 8/7/1994, close our quotation, then comma. Okay, so the next one is phone number. Of course it is voucher, so we need to open a quotation mark. So let's use a plus 234 70 650 14087. So I hope it has not exceeded 20 characters, because if it has, it won't run. So now we'll close our bracket. Have we exhausted everything? First is employee ID, then surname, first name, other name, date of birth, then phone number. Okay, now let us let's end our code with a semicolon. So we can run this and see. Run. It has run. One role affected. It has run. No issues found. Now let's check our table and see if this has entered. Execute. So we have this record for Musa. Now let's say we have, of course there are other employees. Let's say this person is carrying number 2, and this person's surname is Adeolu, and the person's first name is Tokbe, and the person's other name is Kemi Shola, and the date of birth is let's say 10th of 6 year 2000, and of course the phone number changes also, right? So let's run this for the second employee. Execute. We can add more Let's add the third one. Let's say this person is 3, and this is Emeka, and the first name for this person is Chijioke. Then the other name is Okeke, and the date of birth is 3rd of September 2004. Okay. The phone number, let's remove and add some things here, and this is the phone number for Emeka. So let's run this, execute. Now let's check our table. You can see that we have details for 3 employees. So let's check, select all from our table, and look at this. So we have been able to create a database. We have been able to use the database. We have been able to create a table in the database, in fact a defined table in the database, and also we have been able to add values or data into our database. Thank you.